Yeah, Ryan, you kind of piqued my fancy with, what you mentioned about a rep getting comfortable when we have established procedures in place and, a nice salary, so to speak. How do you navigate that, right? Because I think we've had, a couple of hires that have not worked out for us fall really into that category of comfort and, existing procedures that are in place that are pretty established and obviously pipeline, so to speak, for this rep. It's an existing territory of ours. So how do
Right.
we, limit that comfortability early on and I would say early and often.
Okay, cool. So, one of the things on the comp, so you guys probably covered that because that was a big note, is you guys have done a 88K-ish or something like that in salary year one, then it goes down to 45K, and then year one had like 12K in gas, so it was like 100 grand, right? And you guys have your LA and OC markets, and the idea is, hey, based on the budget and what we're comfortable with now, let's get one rep who can attack both markets, and then eventually we'll add a second rep. And that's risky because there's no reality, regardless of how much we're paying reps, where we can fully depend on we hire one and everything works out perfectly. You guys have already experienced that, right? So part of it is like structuring out the sales model and the comp plan to allow for those potential risks in the future. So what we talked about is because year two is 45K salary and you guys are just trying to make sure they make 100 grand in the first year, I'm saying, hey, let's kind of drop the salary in year one just to what year two is to the 45K. And that puts us in a position to hire two people with the same budget from the company. So we can put a rep in LA in Orange County. My assumption of it was, hey, we want them to be around 100K in year one. And so I said, hey, we can protect the company financially per sales rep kind of, salary budget, cut it in half, make it what it is, in year two, allows us to hire two people that hedges against the risk of attrition because that's just a part of the game. Then there's this really important first 3 months. If you can imagine, having everything fully mapped out for, the first 1 to 2, 3, maybe up to 12 months. This is what we expect very high level from an activity and production perspective in Q1 or whatever in the first 3 months to get the 10K bonus. Then in months four, 5, and 6, then months through 7 through 9, then months 10 through 12. And if you accomplish these high level numbers, building this kind of sales pipeline, this amount of lead opportunities into the CRM, this amount of proposals, whatever, then you'll get the 10K bonus. So after you kind of structure at a high level what you would expect them to produce or do from an activity perspective, months 1, 2, 3, all the way through 12, if you can imagine from there, every month, all the way through 12 months, benchmarking it weeks 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, right? And getting really granular with what they actually need to do weeks 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, all the way through the 12 months. Hey, as soon as this is really clear, you guys can communicate in the recruiting process that, hey, this is a 12 to 24 month ramp up, but we know if you're going to be successful, we know if you're going to be the right person literally within the first 30 days because we've literally mapped out every tiny detail every single week for the first 52 weeks to ensure you make those 10K quarterly bonuses and and at least 100K in your first year. So, anyways, we know that if you don't follow the system in the first 4 weeks, it's just simply not a fit, right? Going through training, getting this amount of leads submitted to the CRM, doing 50 calls per day in weeks 2, 3, 4, getting out your first three proposals by week 4, whatever the nuances are, you'd communicate those. If these don't get accomplished, which is kind of the bare minimum that we expect to accomplish the quarterly bonuses over a year, then it's not going to be a fit. We're going to tell you to transition out of the company. And so you guys set up a really cookie cutter thing where it's 4 weeks you determine if they're a fit or not. But anyways, if you wanted to go to your question, if you can imagine, if you guys want to do this, it's not a bad idea at all. If you mapped out everything, or months 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way through 12, and for you guys, the activities get similar, right? So this shouldn't be too complex. After month one, I imagine the daily activities are really similar. Find 20 leads, double call those 20 leads, submit, 10 of the leads that are qualified into the system, right? There's those daily activities that should be fairly similar or weekly activities that should be similar. But for you guys, the sales pipeline is building substantially over time. So it shouldn't be too difficult to do this, but if you can imagine you benchmark everything, weeks 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and that should be simple to do. You can make the salary a bonus, is my point, if you
So you're
wanted to.
incentivizing them to really perform, and if they don't perform, you cut them.
Exactly. Yeah. So the 45K, whatever, 2 grand every 2 weeks or 1875, whatever it is that you guys do on your biweekly payroll, that is actually contingent. It's technically a commission, right? So you can communicate salary in the model, but the salary slash technical commission is only received if you do the activities. Show up to 80% of the management meetings, submit 20 leads to the CRM every single day or weekly. You can make it based on a week. So that will kind of force reps into doing kind of the minimums.